this book, which has been published by the Secretariat of the NCRI, is a full account of the terrorist plot from its inception, planning, painstaking execution from Tehran to Europe. This book demonstrates that Assadi, a dangerous terrorist diplomat who ran a network, a very vast network of agents in Europe, throughout Europe, and conducted this plot, of course, under the direct orders of the highest echelon, highest officials of the Iranian mullahs.
I knew many things of what had happened on this 30th June 2018. Have read, I'm a plaintiff, so I wanted to know the details of how this plot came to be. But the book made me realize something that is very disturbing, which is the human part of who is behind the plot. And I think we have to ponder on what we're talking about, who we're talking about. The whole thing here is about one man, especially one man. His name is Assadi. And this is not a, prisoner that could be one in many. This person is a criminal, but he's more than a criminal. He's a mass murderer. When you see who he is and his life threat, you can follow how he has been trained to kill, how he has been, his job is to kill. He is a leader of killers. He hires killers, and he is one of the most important agents of the Iranian terrorism around the world. Here in Brussels, in Paris, in Berlin, in London, in Madrid, we have been targets of explosions, of mass killings, of terrorist attacks. They all have a common threat: Iran. If we accept to negotiate and exchange innocent people for criminals, criminals will know that they have a way out. Now, my position as a former hostage is, of course, that we need to find a way to have them out. It's not a terrorist organization, it's a state. So we need diplomacy to bring us, our fellow citizens, back. We need them back. We're not just saying there's no solution. We need them back. We need to fight for them. But we can't exchange them for criminals.
The book reveals, by the way, and there was already an article in the Flemish press preview, the book reveals that Assadi was really not an ordinary terrorist. He was led by the Iranian regime. He has been employed by the Ministry of Intelligence and Security for many years, coordinating his clandestine activities across Europe, and he got assistance from high-ranking accomplices from Tehran. So right now we need to know what the government wants to do next. We are circulating letters in Parliament saying that this treaty should not be applied to convicted terrorists. And this is what most people agree on in the civil society. An overall majority agrees on. A convicted terrorist is a danger to our society and to the world, and should be and stay in jail. And the way we uphold these principles, international law, humanitarian law, the fight against impunity. If we don't succeed, this will have, detrimental consequences for the world we will live in, and we will hand over to our children and to our grandchildren. In short, the fight is not over. We are pursuing this case in the next steps. We don't want the Iranian regime to abuse our democratic system, to impose its will through blackmail and through hostage taking.
But this wouldn't be the first law to pass a parliament that is never implemented, where an executive had second thoughts, or where a court permanently enjoined its implementation. It is not too late until Assadi boards that plane. The moment he is returned to Tehran, the message in Tehran is that Brussels has become a base of operation for terrorism in Europe. Why do you have a French and a British citizen here today? Because what has happened in the parliament in Belgium has implications for every capital in Europe. Iran will base its activities in Belgium because it can do so with impunity.
We're talking about an act premeditated, configured, designed, planned, focused upon, rehearsed by people acting in concert with each other and with governmental endorsement and cajolery over a period of at least many months. And I must say, I think the treaty is one of the most risible pieces of legislation that I've encountered in my time in the public sphere. And I certainly don't say that about Belgian parliamentarians, but this is a pitiful state of affairs. If you seek to appease the monster will devour you and it will devour others. It is a point, if I may say so blindingly obvious that only an extraordinarily sophisticated and intelligent person, utterly devoid of common sense, could fail to grasp it. There comes a point when we have to recognize that this is something up with which we will not put. That legislation needs to be set aside, countermanded, and repudiated.
The Iranian regime has many agents like Assadi in its embassies under the diplomatic cover. By using Assadi, these agents will be emboldened for more terrorist operation in European countries. It is time for Europe to take decisive action. It is time for Europe to disclose, for European countries, for EU, to disclose all information about Iranian regime's agents in EU countries. It is time to take practical step by shutting down the regime's embassy in all European countries and expel its agents. This firm approach is necessary for peace and security in Europe and the world.